Hola, ¿cómo estás? Wow, hi, sister. How are you, darling? Well, hello, Miss Cindy. How are you? How are you? How are you? Tracy, I've read through chapter 7 this afternoon, and I want to tell you this is one of the most fun books I have had. I have read in a while. I mean, it's so cute, so fun. It's just fun. You're here, Craig. Don't worry, you're here. And Tracy, I heard about your fun trip last night on here. Yeah, this just is just a fun. Oh, and I got peppermint tonight. Javier. Love me some Javier. I told Nene I was going to be speaking some Spanish tonight, so it's going to be fun. Mm-mm-mm. Hey, Ori. ¿Cómo estás? Virtual. Just bien? Muy bien. Muy bien. Um, I was just telling Tracy, this book is so fun. It is so fun. I'm loving it. Mm. Nina, you ain't seen nothing yet, honey. You won't lick that cover? It'll cost you a car. That right, Tracy? Jackie Lou, who's in the house? Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, I messed my phone up. I started deleting apps because I was cleaning my phone out and I deleted some good stuff, but I was like, shit. Couple more minutes and we'll get started. Vincy may not be here tonight. She's in the middle of Tropical Storm Beta and her power keeps going on and off, so she may not be with us tonight. Honey, if he cleans house and cooks, which I ain't got that far to find out yet, if he does all that, I'll trade Miss Betty in on him. Miss Betty's my truck. I've been waiting on her for a long time. I ain't giving her up for just anybody, but I might give her up for Javier. Mm, 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 mm. Tracy, I'm going to start about halfway through chapter 2. That way I can get to the good stuff. If that's all right with you. We are reading Welcome to BB's by Miss Tracy Ball. I mean, I might be able to get through, but I definitely want to get through chapter 7, I think. I'm going to read for an hour. So, you know. If only life was as good as this book. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this book. Replacing mankind. She's probably asleep, Nina. Oh, man. I'm going to have to go back and read some more of these sex shop series. Usually I get... She slams me with all these, but she didn't do that with this series. This is only, what, the second or third one we've read? We did the donut shop and we did the candy shop, but we didn't do the sex shop. I want to know about that. Ooh, it's bright. Yes. Whew. I'm going to have to go back and start at the beginning and read through them, I think. All righty, y'all ready? So, this is what it's all about. Literally. Whoops-a-daisy. There we go. Literally. That's what it's all about. You see that line right there? You guys think that's a muscle? It's a penis suspender. That's what that is. It's a penis suspender. He's got one on the other side, matches it too. All right, y'all ready? Okay. So, a little bit about the first half of the second chapter. Lizzie is the main character in here. Urbana is her BFF. So think of me as being Lizzie and Nina as being Urbana, okay? Because Nina ain't getting all this. And they work for an eye doctor. And they come in on a Saturday morning, and everybody apparently went to one of the other workers' houses the night before, Keith's house the night before. But they didn't invite Lizzie. So she's feeling sorry for herself, right? Okay. So they're all talking about it and everything. And she's all pouty. You guys aren't my friends anymore, kind of thing. So she decides she's going to go down the street and talk to this dude she's been talking to at the gym. Turns out he's at the hospital with his wife having a baby. Yeah, she didn't know he was married. So, we're going to pick up there. She comes back in, and this is what happens. The conversation stopped when they noticed Lizzie. It didn't take long to get awkward. Unable to control her tears, Lizzie backed out. Urbana and Keith went after her. "What's wrong?" Keith embraced her. "Honey, what happened?" Urbana put a hand on her back. Lizzie shook her head. She didn't want to talk. "Lizzie," Urbana insisted. "It's nothing. A guy I was talking to had to go to the hospital." "Oh, no," Keith said. "Who?" Urbana asked. Lizzie answered Keith. "He went to the hospital with his wife to give birth." She waved their indignation off. "I don't care. It's annoying, but you guys are cutting me out, and it's been a shitty day." "Honey, nobody's cutting you out." Keith pulled her back into the lunchroom. "You are. I know something is going on, but I'm not involved, and you don't want to talk about it in front of me." Everyone around her denied. "Okay," she sniffed. What are you talking about? Why is everybody broke? No one spoke. Yeah, everybody's talking about being broke and how they're going to try to get some more money up and all this stuff. Lizzie started crying again. She tried to leave. Urbana stopped her. All right, all right. We will tell you, come on back. She ignored the mild protest and pulled Lizzie forward. Sit down. Lizzie sat down, wiped her face, and waited. You're out of the loop, Lizzie, because of your birthday. My birthday isn't for another month. We had an opportunity. We had to take it. Urbana paused dramatically. We, Lilith too, we got a coupon for BBs. BBs? You know, Beverly Bruce. It's the boutique in the big red brick building downtown. Oh, it's another one. You know, Beverly Bruce. It's the boutique in the big red brick building downtown, Belinda described it. Has the lingerie shop on the corner next to the naughty toy store? Yes, the entire group affirmed. Those stores are for passerby, Keith said. There's a whole wide world happening inside the warehouse. Several people laughed. I've seen it, but I've never been in there. Lizzie wanted everyone to know of her innocence. We know, Roy said. It's by invitation. You must be 25 to qualify. Thus, the birthday gift. Lizzie quirked an eyebrow. You guys got me a coupon for some edible underwear and a dildo. They were all good friends, but the idea made her uncomfortable. To add to it, people were laughing again. Girl, please, Urbana waved her off. Don't nobody have time for that unimaginative nonsense. We got you a day inside BB's. It took all of us, Belinda commented. Okay, Lizzie shook her head. This is uncomfortable. How did my sex life get to be a topic? Do you want to be a part of our conversations or not? Urbana asked. We're not being dirty or invasive. We took the plunge, and because we love you, we're giving you an opportunity to join us. But if you're too prudish to partake, say the word, Belinda challenged. That coupon is way too valuable to waste. I'll take it. I don't know what I'm partaking in, Lizzie snapped. Information around here's scarce. Do we look any worse for the wear? Do we look any worse for the wear? Keith bit into his bologna. It's bologna and cheese sandwich. Lizzie thought about it. No, they didn't. In the last 6 months or so, Belinda lost weight. Keith added some muscle, and Roy went from contacts to glasses and found his confidence. Not that any of them were involved. There were no new relationships to speak of. In fact, no one talked about dating but her. When did that happen? Why? Even Urbana, arguably the hottest woman Lizzie had ever seen, 5'7", double D cups, a better ass than the mold the Kardashians used. Plus, she was all natural, from her red-brown, beautiful, kinky hair that didn't have a lifeless strand to those inch-long claws she called nails that seemed to repair themselves magically on the rare occasions one happened to break. My tongue's so thick tonight, y'all, I don't know what's going on. There's Miss Olivia. Lizzie was straight, but the truth was real. Urbana was the shit, and she didn't have a man either. The startling part was realizing none of them were unhappy. Despite not knowing what to think, Lizzie felt a touch of envy and a wave of daring. Okay, I'm in. Chapter 3. Why am I dressing up like this? Like this is a date, Lizzie asked. This isn't a date. What kind of person would I be if I didn't prepare you? Urbana arrived early and had been prepping Lizzie for all morning for her 10 a.m. appointment. Can I see yours? Lizzie asked for the millionth time. No, no, and no, Urbana repeated yet again. She did Lizzie's makeup. Having finished applying shadow to the right side, she moved over to the left. It will ruin it for you. You need to have your own unique experience. I didn't say I wanted to do anything with it. I won't even touch it. Urbana pursed her lips and covered the brush tip with color. You got that right. Not without an exchange. It's hard to get excited about the prospect of a sex doll. Creepy old men and desperate perverts buy those things. What am I? Creepy, old, or desperate? That's the weird part. You don't fit the profile, and I don't want to fit the profile. What if somebody finds out? I'm paying more for my Joe than I am for my car. Does that sound like something in a brown bag that fits a profile? You named him Joe? Joe Motor. My baby moves. Lizzie squeezed her eyes shut to block out mental images. Stop squinting. I'm not done. She was done because she moved on to the blush. Your baby? Liz, girl, stop fixating. Take a deep breath, relax, and prepare to be wowed. Lizzie took a deep breath, and then the conversation caught up to her. You paid how much? Don't ask. It will scare you away. Tabitha took out a loan against her house, but she and her husband have two. So there is that. The fuck? Deep breath. You don't have to buy anything, but I promise you, these babies are worth every penny. Is this why nobody has any money? Lilith is buying groceries and Roy is eating cereal because you all are paying thousands of dollars for sex toys. Worth every penny. And no worry, you're not getting one for Christmas. At least not from me. You guys are nuts. Every penny. Where is Joe? I need to see this thing. You are about to meet your dream. Stay away from my man. Man? Man? Like he's a human? I've been with Joe for 2 months. He's solar charged and has 5 speeds. What good is a human to me? Let me go on the record as saying this is the craziest shit I have ever heard of. Urbana chose a deep cherry red lipstick and held Lizzie's chin in the crook between her thumb and forefinger. You are so going to thank me. Lizzie found the front door an impressive feat, considering she changed her mind 12 times between her apartment and BB's private parking lot. Until she read the pamphlet Urbana gave her, Lizzie didn't know they had a private parking lot. She never had a reason to go behind the building or to go anywhere near the building. It looked like a warehouse of some sort, a fancy, well-kept building hiding secrets. She tugged her miniskirt down. The reception area was spacious and plush, large enough to host a ball. It felt like the kind of place a millionaire might go to customize his or her yacht. There were a few windowed offices on the far side of the room. People chatted in quiet tones as they went about their business. The plate outside the first door read, Finance Office. A gentleman behind a huge oak desk passed papers to an excited woman who couldn't seem to sign them fast enough. A set of double doors Lizzie had noticed swung open. A man. A god. A panty popper pushed through. He was in gray sweats and a t-shirt. Lizzie wished she could be in them too. His hair was buzzed and sexy. His khaki skin tone confused her about his race. Whatever mix he was, it was perfection. His arms were cannons and his thighs were rockets. For certain, he packed a gun. Either that or he had 3 legs. Lizzie's mouth watered. She tugged at her skirt. Buenos dias. He smiled, and her knees almost gave out. I'm Javier. He held out a strong, warm hand. You must be Elizabeth. Lizzie shook his hand and struggled to focus. His deep baritone was mesmerizing. Yes, I'm I'm Elizabeth Bells. Lizzie, I have an appointment. Idiot, he knows you have an appointment. With me. Javier kissed her hand. It's a pleasure meeting you. He released her fingers and stepped back. Have a seat. Mona will be out in a second. She'll get you started, and I'll be back to give you the tour. Oh, okay. Lizzie tried to cover her disappointment. To hell with Mona. She wanted to talk to him. He seemed to read her thoughts when he grinned and said, I have to upload some details. Oh, I have to upload some details. I won't take long. I promise. She giggled and didn't know why. Maybe it had something to do with watching his ass as he went down a hall. Screw the robot. She endured the tour. She'd endure the tour just to follow him. Hi there. A lady with kind eyes and a soft round face startled Lizzie. Welcome to BB's. I'm Mona. She wasn't Javier's ass, so Lizzie didn't see where she came from. She tried to get back on track. Hi, I'm Lizzie. Lizzie, we're so excited to meet you. Mona shook her hand and urged her forward. Follow me and we'll get you set up. They crossed the room and stopped beside an elevator. While they waited, the excited woman from the finance office came out. Mankind is doomed, she told Lizzie. Okay. We're doomed, the crazy lady appeared happy with her assessment. Mankind is not doomed, Carmen, Mona laughed. No one will ever procreate again, Carmen said. Who has time for inclination to procreate? Lizzie hunched her shoulders. She didn't know what the woman expected her to say. When they were in the elevator, Mona said aloud, Won't she be surprised when procreation becomes an option? Pardon? We already have 3 fertility centers on board. Insemination is available, or rather, it will be once the legal end wraps up. I'm sorry. That's a conversation for another day. Your coupon doesn't cover insemination. Mona dismissed the topic as the doors opened. I realize you have questions, but we like to begin with an introduction. She led Lizzie down the hall and into a suite. It was more high-end than the reception area foretold. This is part of the overview, Mona said. Feel free to look around and get comfortable. She went to the refrigerator. There are snacks, and the mimosas are chilled. She brought one over and offered it to Lizzie. The computer is set up and ready to go. She pointed to the desk. It's a small questionnaire. You have wonderful friends. They gave us great information, but as this is your tour, we want to personalize it for you. She clicked on the computer. We have it in writing, but let me be very clear. We do not store or manage your information. Every experience is custom tailored to our guest. What that means is if you decline to make a purchase today, but choose to do so next month, you'll retour. Privacy is our second highest value. Lizzie was curious. What's the first? Pleasure. Mona smiled and continued talking. We get our product and sales information from focus groups and testers like the one your friends attended to get your gift certificate. We have no need to invade anyone's privacy. Mona felt truthful. Her declaration comforted Lizzie. She didn't know what she was getting into, but she wanted to keep it private regardless. I apologize in advance if some questions seem evasive. They are 100% optional. No one will see it. It goes to AI and is used to personalize and enhance your visit. Lizzie nodded. The mimosa was doing its thing. So far, nothing bad had happened. Her friends wanted her to do this. She'd give it a try. Plus, she was going to look at Benoit balls and 10-speed dildos with Javier. Not the worst way to spend a Saturday. All right, so far so good. She was brave. Let's do this. You won't be sorry. Mona got her another mimosa. I'll leave you to it. Take your time doing the survey and help yourself to anything. Javier will be here shortly. Mm-hmm. There's a reason I'm eating peppermint, y'all. I'm just saying. It's Tracy's fault. Chapter 4. Lizzie strolled around the suite, touching things, chandeliers and sculptures and antiques. It was like corporate housing or one of those hotels regular people couldn't check into. She found lingerie in one of the drawers. The tags were still attached. She didn't know what that was about, but she imagined how rich a person would have to be to own it. It wasn't the stuff they sold in their shop on the corner. A stocked bar and a fireplace with a huge TV above the mantel. In the bathroom, one of two, the sunken tub was so deep and wide, Lizzie wondered if a person could drown. She tried the bidet because it was there and wondered what kind of softener they used on the towels. That just gave me a whole other visual when I read that. She came across a cabinet she couldn't open. That made her curious. She searched for a key but gave up after a few minutes. Peppermint was in the air. That is my favorite candy, y'all. Just saying. Not overbearing, but fresh and cool and relaxing. Lizzie imagined they'd use the aphrodisiac to get potential customers in the mood to purchase something to hump. It was wasted on her. She wanted to hump the sales guy. She finished the second mimosa and was ready to tackle the questions. They started easy enough. Nicknames, age, gender, nationality, favorite color, food and beverage preferences, movie options, lifestyle choices, nothing too deep or embarrassing. No known allergies, no current medications, no disabilities or special needs. No, she did not have a heart condition. The next section had her rating sex toys and positions. Then she had to describe her perfect man. She got bold and had fun with it. Finally, she read the mission statement and the company policy to protect privacy and not to collect or save data. She clicked the acknowledgement button and wondered about having a real drink. Lizzie's heart skipped a beat when she heard the light tap on the door. Here we go. Her heart almost stopped when she opened it. Leaning against the doorframe, Javier filled the space. His eyes were hazel with amber flecks of fire. His broad shoulders gave the t-shirt a pleasurable stretch. The hand he had casually blocking his groin didn't hide a thing. His stance left her no doubt of his confidence. And the stud in his left ear, a silver heart, was a total turn on. Sorry for keeping you waiting, pretty lady. He brushed by her and took command of the room. Lizzie didn't know what to do with herself. She wasn't squeezing a rubber dick in front of him. You look like you could use a drink. Javier relieved himself of a small backpack Lizzie hadn't noticed. Let me make you one and we'll get started. Okay. Lizzie couldn't breathe. She couldn't think. She stood there watching him mix drinks. When he finished, he held up a cold, cloudy beverage garnished with a slice of lime. Gimlet. Gin gimlet. Gin, lime, and a little sweetener. It's an easy sipper to relax and inspire you. He gave her one glass and caught hold of her fingers, leading her to the sofa. He sat beside her, close, touching her hand. You better be getting them toys out. Lizzie had a sip. Then she had another because she was nervous and couldn't help herself. It's good, thank you. My pleasure. He drank his own. Oh, damn, he had a dimple. So, how does this work? What should I be doing? Enjoy your drink. We'll hang out and chat until you're comfortable. Then we can do whatever you want. Having a drink was definitely a good idea. It might have been the gin champagne combo. More likely, it was him. But Lizzie believed she was already starting to buzz. So, you're a sex shop tour guide? How long have you been doing this? This is my first and only tour. No, it is. Something about his confession, if it were the truth, encouraged her. She felt less embarrassed than she would be with an old hand. He didn't have an arsenal of tired cell lines to throw at her. She leaned into him without realizing it. Why would this be your only tour? He drank his gin. I'm here for you. It's all I'm good for. She watched him weave his fingers through hers. You don't even know me. I'm learning. Having put all her energy into stressing over the sex shop visit itself, Lizzie was unprepared for the shock he gave her hormones. Her skirt had risen a half-mile higher than it needed to be. Damn peppermint. It, it put her in the mood to make out with a total stranger, with a pop in his lap. You know what? He looked like that. I don't need anything to drink. I don't need to sniff anything. I don't need any peppermint. I don't need. I'm a hoe, and I'm gonna. If he comes over to me, I'm his. Say something. Say something. Say something. Do you guys really sell souped up sex dolls? She hadn't meant to blurt it out, but she wanted to know. I'm not familiar with the term souped up, but I imagine it could be self-flattering coming from me. The bright amber flecks in his eyes lit up his face. And while we don't consider ourselves sex dolls, a large portion of what we do would suggest it. I believe the answer would be affirmative. It had to be the gin. Pardon me? I'm a souped up sex doll. She burst out laughing. I meant the supposed robots. Javier leaned over and whispered in her ear. That is a conflicting response. It was a straight sentence, no hidden meanings or innuendos, but his breath in her ear made her wet her panties. He guided her hand to her thigh and directed her to rub herself. Perhaps you don't realize I'm your tour, Lizzie. He touched her ear with the tip of his tongue once, twice, and her nipples got hard. Estoy aquí para ti, baby. What's that mean? What she wanted to know was how to get his hands a little higher up her leg. It means I'm here for you. He got closer, pressed his lips behind her ear, and moved their fingers to the edge of her panties. I'll explain everything to you, but at the moment, you're not in the mood for listening. You're in the mood to have your pussy played with. That takes priority. You can do it, I can do it, or we can do it together. He pushed their hands against her crotch, and she was ready to come. It was inappropriate, to say the least. She knew nothing about this man offering to finger her. Inappropriate and exciting. Do me, she breathed. He slid her hand back, resting it against her thigh, slipped his fingers inside her panties, and gently rubbed. It was already what she wanted. Slow, teasing her, he brushed light kisses along her jaw. I love how turned on you are. You're already beautiful, but this is hot. His fingers were magic, taking her to the brink. He pulled out, licked his finger, pulled her panties down to her knees, and pushed two fingers back in. Do you like how that feels? He used his thumb to rub her clitoris. Oh, hell yes, she did. Uh-huh. Do you want me to go fast? He increased the friction. Or slow. He slid in and out. In and out. Oh, she didn't care. She was coming. Chapter 5. Lizzie closed her eyes, embarrassed. She felt him move, getting up. He went into the bathroom and she opened her eyes to better loathe herself. A total stranger. She let a total stranger stick his fingers in her vagina. Peppermint, alcohol, whatever. He was a stranger and his fingers were in her. Javier returned and Lizzie shut her eyes again. She could not look at him. He pressed a warm cloth against her vagina and her eyes popped open. He cleaned her up like it was his job, and she was speechless. He pulled her panties down and off. He sniffed them, then folded them in half and set them on the end table along with the cloth. There, are you ready to talk now? He sat beside her. She made a sound somewhere between a gasp and a snort. Talk? I can't even look at you right now. Plus, she wasn't wearing underwear. His face fell. I'm sorry. Did I displease you? May I try again? Dude, she put some space between them. It's not that. I don't know what happened. I let you do that. I shouldn't have. It's embarrassing. Realization dawned on him. Not to worry, love. Much of it was out of your control. This environment was created to excite you, and I was created to satisfy your sexual craving. Suffice it to say, I know what's going on in your body, and I'm programmed to give you whatever you need. Programmed? I don't believe you comprehended my earlier explanation. He waved a hand around the room. This is your workshop, and I'm your bot. No one knows what goes on in this room but you and me. She showed her he 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 showed her his dimple. I'm not telling. She heard him. She furrowed her brows to make it more believable. It wasn't. You are not a robot. I'm a combination of a lot of things. Engineering, technology, medical science, AI, and some good old-fashioned determination. She shook her head. No, I don't know this game, but there isn't that much advancement in the world. He took her hand. She pulled back and then changed her mind. She took his hand and inspected it. It was soft and flexible. She could feel his bones. Fuzzy hair covered his arm. She dropped his hand and made a face. Right. What were you expecting? A rubber balloon? A remote controlled kid's toy? He made a blank face while moving his arms and head like a robot in a robotic fashion. She grinned because, yes, that's exactly what she expected. He dropped his pretense. Our prices are exclusive. It has to be for something you can't get anywhere else. She paused. That's what Urbana said. Your friend? She uploaded your profile and many of your preferences. It was helpful. Otherwise, you would have lost an hour waiting for me to be created. Okay, I can't. Dude, you're not a bot. I would know if I were talking to a bot. Mona's a bot. Oh, please. He seemed to know the direction her thoughts had taken. Mona is sweet and inviting. She's not a sex bot because she wasn't made to have sex. She was built to welcome guests. Before Lizzie could protest, he reached for the TV remote. Why don't we look at the introduction? We'll see if you change your mind. Fine, she sat back. He draped his arm over the back of the sofa behind her head. She decided she didn't care. He was either a robot or a fraud. She didn't need his respect. I just want to insert here the movie I Robot with Will Smith in it, just so we stay grounded. The short film was interesting, describing the latest breakthroughs and advancements in science, technology, and pleasure. It was still too weird. Nothing about Javier felt fake. She still wasn't convinced. Great show. You talk a good game, but I'm not buying it. Show me a power switch or a battery pack, some wires or something. All right, y'all, don't be drinking anything until I get through this part, okay? Because I don't want anybody choking, Nina. Javier hunched his shoulders. Without a word, he stood up and dropped his sweatpants. Lizzie almost had a heart attack. He wasn't wearing underwear. His balls hung low, and he was as big and thick as she imagined. He laid on the floor, knees bent, legs open, sticking straight up like a flagpole. If you look behind my scrotum at the junction of my left ass cheek, you'll see what looks like a skin tag. He waited for her to look. Lizzie was glad to be on her knees. She wasn't sure her legs would hold her. With hesitant, shaky fingers, she touched his balls. Damn, they were nice. Sliding them aside while trying not to bounce them overmuch and trying not to stare at his ginormous dick, she brought her face low. Well, damn, his ass smelled good, almost like a new car. His voice floated to her. Press it in. It was cute. She wanted to kiss it, but she did as he asked. It was a button. It ejected a microchip. Lizzie popped her head up. Javier lay motionless as if dead. His eyes were sightless. His breathing stopped. His body locked in place. He was dead. Creeped out and scared she broke him, Lizzie pushed the chip back into place. A second later, he raised his head and smiled at her. Not to worry, baby. It's an emergency temporary kill switch. I'd have rebooted in 2 minutes. That wasn't an act. No, love. If you tell me to fuck you for 3 hours and ignore your commands to stop, you'll need the kill switch to turn me off. It was weird. It was unbelievable. It was exciting. Urbana says she paid more for Joe Motor than she paid for her car. It made sense, and his erection was in her face. Seeming to know the direction her mind went, Javier said, the average human penis is about 4.5 to 5 inches. The average penis we serve at BB's is 9.5 inches. 10.25 suits my build, but I can go smaller or larger for your pleasure. Emboldened, Nina, there's your 10.25 inch penis. Emboldened, she reached her hand around it. It was warm, hard, and silky smooth. Lizzie decided, robot or not, she would fuck the shit out of him. Girls, hold your seats. It ain't over yet. Chapter 6. Javier biting his bottom lip made her second guess. I already love to give blowjobs. With this thing, I would probably never stop giving blowjobs. I'm just saying. Javier biting his bottom lip made her second guess. Are you real? I'm not human, but that doesn't make me not real. He raised and lowered his pelvis, sliding through her fist. Trees aren't human, cars aren't alive, but they are both real. So this is pleasurable for you? She stroked him all the way down. It evokes reactions from me that will heighten your pleasure. Before she could respond, he covered her hand and guided her to jerk him faster. His closed eyes and heavy breathing made her believe he enjoyed it. Oh, see, hace eso. Don't get caught up in trying to fit this into human terms and understanding. Get caught up in how hard my dick is and how it will feel when I pound your sweet ass with it. His words made her pussy throb. Can you come? Artificial semen is an available option for those who want a realistic experience, as is a deflating erection. However, I can show you a better trick. I'm intrigued. Stroking 10 1/4 inches was very intriguing. Suck it. Like she hadn't done that before. Nothing intriguing about giving him a blowjob except trying to make it fit. But what the hell? She licked the full length of him once, twice, and took him into her mouth. Her eyes popped open and she swallowed. It was Gimlet. He was definitely a bot, and she was sipping a cocktail from his penis. Yes! The chilled gin and lime. Can you imagine a margarita in there? Oh, hell yeah. I don't care what color it is. The chilled gin and lime squirted into her mouth in tiny bursts. It was good. She kept swallowing, unmindful of how fast she guzzled the repurposed alcohol. Javier squeezed his balls and she got a big gulp. He eased her off of him and pulled her up to straddle his abdomen. Too much too fast, and you'll be too tipsy to enjoy your day. She was going to be too tipsy anyway. That's fun. I can do the same thing with my tongue, too. Oh, can I try? It's the reason I exist. He was being literal, but it made her feel special nonetheless. She leaned forward and pressed her lips against his. He put his arms around her, and just like that, she forgot herself and got caught up in his kiss. He let the kissing game for a minute and then eased his tongue between her teeth. Even expecting it, it was a pleasant sensation. Sucking his tongue and tasting gin, she drank him in tiny, tiny sips. Nina, you need to get ready for when he goes down on her. Not only was he the best straw ever, lying across his over-the-top sexy body felt good. She moved, undulating. He responded by going under her skirt and cupping her ass. He spread her cheeks and kneaded the flesh. Slowly, he retracted his tongue but kept kissing her. Talking between nips and bites, he said, "Remember, too much gin too fast and you might miss this." "Never," she breathed. She felt the gin. She felt his hands. She felt his body and couldn't wait to feel his dick. Want to know what else my tongue can do? Lizzie couldn't imagine saying no. Nina, get ready. Olivia, get ready. I know you two horn dogs are ready for this. May I take your top off? She nodded and thrust her breast forward. He cupped one and then the other, appearing to be pleased. As he undid her buttons, Lizzie felt sexy and made a mental note to thank Urbana for dressing her. She'd have to thank Urbana for a lot of things. Nuzzling her cleavage wasn't exactly new, but Lizzie didn't have any complaints. Sitting on his lap had his penis wedged in her ass crack. Nope, no complaints at all. He slid one strap down and kept going until her breast bounced free. He licked and kissed and latched on, making Lizzie groan with pleasure. He rolled his tongue around her areola and attached to her nipple like soft Velcro. She felt the difference as soon as it happened. 100 micro suction cups tingled, putting her mammary glands on notice. She loved having her tits sucked, but this was a new level of yum. He'd just started and she was ready to let go. When Javier switched sides, Lizzie came. He held her ass, let her grind against him, and sucked harder. When she could breathe well enough to say something besides "oh, oh, oh," she held him. She held his head and kissed him. It was sweet and tender. He held her like she was all that mattered. For a moment, she forgot that was his purpose. For a moment, she felt special. When reality returned, he was still rocking her and nuzzling her shoulder as if he couldn't get enough. She held him to her and made a conscious decision to not give a shit about reality. He dipped his tongue in the valley between her breasts, licking and teasing and watching her face as they humped. Do you like my tongue? Uh-huh. Can you imagine how it will feel? Cuando como tus coño, when I eat your pussy? Oh, damn. I just thought of something, Nina. He can teach me Spanish. His eyes were mesmerizing, his body magnificent, molded against hers. The friction was exquisite. Do you think you'll like that? Will you let me fuck you with my tongue? I'll make it good, I promise. He held her legs open and pushed against her. It was already good. He had a magic tongue, a magic body. He was magic. I can't wait for you to lick me good, make me come. Oh, oh. Rocking on his dick made her pussy throb harder. She wanted more, needed more. It was there, right there, just out of reach. He tilted her back, supporting her neck as he nibbled the underside of her breast and her abdomen. I'm going up your ass with it too. I'm going to eat your luscious ass and lick that creamy pussy until you beg me to stop. His words had the planned effect, and she was there for it. She humped him harder. Don't stop. Oh, please don't stop. Never, baby. His voice was thick and husky. Tell me what you want. Let me give it to you. She didn't know what she wanted, but she wanted it now. Do you want me to play with your pussy? He tickled her from underneath. Or are you ready for some of this? He raised her like she weighed nothing, which for him was true, dangled her pussy over his face, and gave her a feather like kiss. Do you want to go for a ride? She tried to push down into him, but he was too strong. He made her say it. Eat my damn pussy now, please. Chapter 7. He lowered her just enough for her to rub against his lips and suck back and back up. She struggled. Next, the brush of his teeth and away. She strained, then his warm breath and a tiny nibble. Lick me now. She squeezed her eyes shut and wheeled her body closer. She didn't have the strength of a kitten against him. Oh, please. The tip of his tongue hit the spot on the first try. The second she felt him flicking her clit, she gave in to the ecstasy. He held her in place and licked her like a soft serve ice cream cone. He swirled his tongue, touching all the right places, and lapped her with long, smooth strokes. Her legs hung over his shoulders as he did all the work, bouncing her up and down on his face. She tried to buck and grind into him, but he was the master. Ah, ah, ah. He held her securely while she flopped around like a happy rag doll, enjoying the ride. Lizzie didn't know or care how Javier managed to stand up, holding her with his tongue in her vagina, but he walked them to the bedroom and laid her in the center of the king-size bed without missing a stroke. She already came once, twice. She didn't know how many times, but it was building again. She was too weak and gone to do anything more than lay there moaning, with her eyes crossed and her tongue lagging out the side of her mouth while she alternated spritzing her clit with gin while he alternated spritzing her clit with gin and siphoning it off with his micro suctioning. Her orgasm was hot and powerful. She held his hand and creamed his face. When the sensation ebbed, she took a deep, calming breath. Then she realized he wasn't done. On his knees, he held her legs apart, showed her his tongue. She watched it extend 3 or 4 inches and stiffen. It was velvet covered wood. Without warning, he jammed her with it. It's vibrating. His tongue is a built-in vibrator. Hell yes. He held her in the victory position without moving his head, his eyes watching her. His tongue extended and retracted, rotating clockwise and counterclockwise in 10-second intervals. She giggled, thinking of it as the spare dick. Every man should have one. She got caught in his eyes, watching him, watching her as he fucked her with his tender slowness. Lizzie lost count of the number of releases she had had in the last hour, but it was more than in the last 6 months. He told her he wouldn't stop until she begged him to. Wide open, held in place, having her pussy worshipped, that's what it felt like, made her beg for more. Pulsing, sliding, twisting, grinding over and over, precision, timing, and meticulous attention without stopping or losing his focus. His intense gaze reading her heart and analyzing her reactions. Her reactions were exactly what he wanted it to be. Man, I'm breathing so much, I'm getting lightheaded. She was still spasming when he finally withdrew. He kissed her vagina lips and lowered her legs. She was deliciously sore and not inclined to move. Stay put. He moved off the bed, as if she had a choice. Lizzie could hear him, first in the bathroom and then in the kitchen. He returned with a tray of food, a bottle of wine chilling in an ice bucket. He placed the ice bucket on the dresser next to a plate of cheese, fruit, and crackers. Brought the food over to the bedside table, which was great. She was starving. He answered the question she didn't ask. You're going to eat and take a nap. When you wake up, we'll have some wine, take a bath, and I'll fuck the shit out of you. You already fucked the shit out of me. She dragged herself up to a half-sitting position. Foreplay. Lizzie giggled. She never had difficulty controlling her body after mere foreplay. Then again, she never played with a bot before. She didn't notice her state of dress until he reached behind her and unhooked her bra. It was around her waist with one strap broken. Her skirt was around her waist too, rolled up and twisted. He slid it down her hips and off her body, pausing to play with her pussy for a beat and leaning in to suck her tits for a moment. I'll redress you later, but for now, you don't need them. Javier was the sexiest man she'd ever seen. No, no, she did not need clothes at all. He served her Kobe fillet and lobster with golden chanterelles, a salad, sangria, lemon water, and dark chocolate cheesecake for dessert. For something she'd never eaten before, it was amazing. He slid in bed beside her, holding her tray, passing her drinks, and answering her questions. She had questions. Are you a robot? I am a lot of things. How are you made? Engineering, technology, medical science, AI, and some good old-fashioned determination. He reached into the nightstand drawer and located a remote. One press of a button, and a panel on the wall opened to reveal a television. A second press and another explanatory film began. It walked them through the process of building a bot, the mainframe, the wires, the structure, all of it built in replica of a natural human body. Thousands of sensors worked as nerves, circulating information to and from the AI brain, creating an almost perfect human substitute. She tried her best not to waste the scrumptious meal, but though that was so far out of her pocketbook, she doubted she'd ever get to taste it again, but she couldn't finish it. Ever watchful, always learning, Javier knew when she had enough. He removed her fork from her fingers and set the tray aside. Hey, Lizzie still wanted to stuff it all in. You're done. His smooth baritone. Damn, I need him just to control my eating. You're done. His smooth baritone held the right note of authority. He gathered her close, pulled the covers around them, and snuggled. Oh my gosh, he snuggles! It worked. Lizzie forgot about the food. After a few contented minutes, she said, I can hear your heartbeat. If you cut me open, you'll find a beating heart. She raised her head. It's not a human heart. I don't bleed. I'm solar powered. But instead of a panel on my head, I have a heart-shaped rust-free battery pack, absorbing energy and sending it where it needs to go. His fingers played in her hair. Why does your skin feel like human skin? Because it is human skin. 12% of it anyway. Enough for a dusting of natural hair. The rest is a combination of latex, synthetic, and fiber optics. This is real? She rubbed his chest hair. Oh my gosh. And then kept rubbing. Yes, my hair is real, but won't fall out or grow without a program upgrade. She listened to his heart, rubbed his chest, and fell asleep, not caring at all about an upgrade. Guess what, y'all? Yes, you have to go buy the book. It's free on KU. And I believe, crap. It is. Go buy the book or go get it off KU. Sorry, sister. I'm not reading more for you. You hear this voice? No. Fingers. Do what I want you to do, not what my brain's telling you to do. Tracy, you still with us? Takes about an hour and 45 minutes to read, so another hour. Tracy is not giving me the option to. Oh, there it is. I put my glasses on. Sorry. All right. It's 99 cents to buy it, y'all. Just go buy it. Forget getting it on KU unless you're just really broke. Go buy it. What do y'all think? It's good. I told you it was, didn't I? I told you I had so much fun reading this book that it was totally awesome. I loved this book. What do y'all think? Mm-hmm. So Honey's gonna go play with her toys now. Because I know you ain't gonna go get your man. Craig, you still on here or did you slip out? Ori, why do you even try telling me how much it is? Because you don't even know. See? You cray, sister. Tracy, thank you for writing such an awesome book. And I bet you sell some more tonight. So, all right, ladies. Tomorrow night we got Kay Palsy, I think is her name. Palsy, something like that. And I forgot the name of the book. So she was a last minute thing, I think. Let's go back here. Go back here. Back here. There. I love it when I look in here and I have books that I pre-ordered that downloaded. Voden by Kay Palsy. Looks like it might be a paranormal or something like that. So be here, be square, 8 o'clock tomorrow night, y'all. See, I told you, palsy or pulse or something. All right. You ladies have fun tonight. Enjoy. And I'll holler at you later. Happy reading.